Christine borrows from the reading today that I'm about to read. It's called To Be of Use by Marge Piercy. You'll hear her refer to it in her sermon, and here the reading is in full, an appreciation of hard work, the sort of effort required to create and maintain a sanctuary like this place or anything else of importance. The people I love the best jump into work head first, without dallying in the shallows, and swim off with sure strokes almost out of sight. They seem to become natives of that element, the black sleek heads of seals bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves an ox to a heavy cart, who pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and the muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along, who are not parlor generals and field deserters, but move in a common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out. The work of the world is common as mud. Botched, it smears the hands, crumbles to dust. But the thing worth doing well done has a shape that's satisfied, clean and evident. Greek amphoras for wine or oil, holy vases that hold corn, are put in museums, but you know they were made to be used. The pitcher cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real.
Experienced that moment, and I hope you have, that wondrous moment when you're struck like lightning and you know it's love. The power of the connection, the chemistry, the filling of a cup deep within that maybe you didn't even know was empty. It might be another person, a darling kitten, gazing at your new baby. For me, it was my Unitarian Universalist faith. The details of the setting are a little bit fuzzy, but the memory of the power of the emotion I felt is still crystal clear. It was a potluck lecture kind of style meeting, and I do remember Bev Dally. The warmth of the people in a faith community, the message of respect and inclusion stayed with me. Just like when you've had that first contact with a potential new love, I just couldn't get the encounter out of my mind. As is often the case, you try to talk yourself out of it. I really don't have time and energy for this. I had a beautiful new baby, my marriage was in chaos, my father was beginning the decline into dementia, I'd shifted my corporate 9-to-5 job to a personal consulting model. I mean, I really didn't have time for this. But let me back up just for a moment to my family of origin. My parents were benignly a-religious. Not anti-anything, but they had come from different religious backgrounds and had decided to raise their children without any specific religious focus. Science and reason and curiosity were held up as sacred in our home. Our family bookshelf held an eclectic mix: science fiction, Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, car and home repair manuals, poetry, classic literature, alongside a Bible, a Bhagavad Gita, Rumi, Confucius, and wondrous folk tales from Europe and across Africa, all respected in equal measure. Fertile ground indeed for my future foray into Unitarian Universalism. As I matured into adulthood, I was growing increasingly aware of and irritated by injustices around religion. My best friend sought a divorce from a really abusive marriage. She loved her Catholic faith, and not being able to participate in the sacraments weighed heavy on her heart. Folks coming out to the truth of their gender and affectional realities were not celebrated, but barred from worship in places that their hearts held dear. The first time I heard from a UU pulpit, whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey, you're welcome here. Well, I finally quit resisting the draw to this faith, and love is tangible and put into action. And my sweet baby girl and I jumped in wholeheartedly. Tim offered one of my favorite Marge Piercy readings, To Be of Use. Well, I wanted to be with people who submerged in the task. And my heart and soul was crying for work that is real. The work of building this church was good work and real. Like any new love, it was exhilarating. I felt held in love and beloved community. But as with most romances, the honeymoon phase began to wear off. The endless meetings, mountains of paperwork, budgets, bylaws, the new congregation charter, that dreamy state of new love wore off, but was replaced with devotion. We knew we were building something important, something that would change lives. I was surrounded by a group of devoted volunteers with lives just as, if not more, complicated than mine. They were making endless cups of coffee, encouraging me to bring my sweet baby to meetings so I didn't have to leave her with yet another babysitter. Thank you, Evelyn Burleson. We had found our village. In a new relationship, you mark all the firsts, don't you? To support us in the arduous process of chartering a new congregation, the Unitarian Universalist Association sent us an angel. Reverend Bill Hamilton Holloway was my first minister. Sure, I'd had people in my life who cared about me and supported my journey, but to be ministered to, a trained professional nurturing my spiritual soul, wow. Charter Sunday was a party. Signing our names as charter members. Woohoo! Are there any of you here who signed the book with me? I know Beth did. Anyone else? Oh my gosh, we're holding down for it. Okay. The mood of celebration of the fruits of our labors was infectious. As a matter of fact, a few folks signed the book, never to be seen again. They got so caught up in the energy. The first Sunday service as a chartered UU church, such joy. The first wedding, Bruce and Barb Perry. The first baby. The first child dedication. The first funeral. Sandra Hanson's little baby granddaughter. The first time I realized we didn't have to create every aspect of doing church from scratch week after week. There were resources at our disposal. Well, other people more versed in church than I, Evelyn, of course, knew this, but I had been internally panicking. My favorite was called Church in a Box. The box really was shaped like a little church with beautiful little stained glass windows painted on it, and the steeple was the handle. It contained sermons and inspiring readings and music. Oh, hallelujah, we used every bit of it. The first Thanksgiving, so much to be thankful for. The first Christmas candlelight service. Oh, magic. Our first called minister. Another angel. Finding my soulmate and life partner at church. Because we were both drawn to the deep core values that are the foundations of this faith. The work, the hard work to become designated a welcoming congregation, a sanctuary for our LGBTQIA brothers and sisters. A sanctuary for the diversity that is Ogden. Members who were Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, humanist, and atheist, all worshiping together. It was the most heart-expanding, mind-broadening experience of my life to see the various threads of religious diversity weaving this beautiful tapestry of community. The first tear in that tapestry came with our proposed name change. You were chartered as the Unitarian Universalist Society of Ogden. There were those who wanted to claim the powerful faith language of church, and others who felt just as strongly about the use of what they felt was more welcoming and inclusive concept of society. In a covenantal relationship, you state your case, argue, discuss, hopefully listen deeply. And then the community exercises our precious democratic process and takes a vote. I had to learn and embrace that sometimes when someone's values and principles are not being served, there is leave-taking. This ebb and flow of membership happens in a community devoted to bringing love into action. Not everyone can embrace every action. Our brand of fierce love is not for everyone. But what balances the sadness of seeing someone leave is witnessing someone experiencing this faith for the first time, and yes, falling in love. You've seen it, the starry eyes, the wonder that this place, this sacred space, is here just for them, speaking to their very core. Sustaining a long-term relationship requires a fierce kind of love. It's pretty easy to fall in love with high ideals and eloquent principles. But when the shiny newness has tarnished a bit, when heart-singing joy is replaced by the daily grind, heartbreaking loss, and exhaustion, it takes a fierce kind of love to maintain a sanctuary. You do the founder's hard work honor with your devotion. Thank you. And blessed be.
Where there is love, there is peace.